There we are.
Hi. Are we
Hi.
on?
We're live.
And we're on. I just want to play a game. See if you can pick the fake plant behind me, hey? See which one. Is it that one? No. That one? No. No. Is it that one? What I'm trying to say is that there might be fake plants, but what you've got here are real women in front of you. So every week we do a shout out to Tim Stokes. That was amazing. We were just sitting here going, wow.
Beautiful.
How can we follow
Beautiful.
that? Yeah. How can we follow it? So this is the segment where I am part of a duo of two women that have started a female DJ community. And basically every week on Byron Bay Live, we're going to be interviewing a female DJ or someone in the industry that represents being a woman. They don't have to be born a woman, but they just have to smell like a woman. Really.
I am a woman. I vouch.
Yeah, she's a woman. So tonight we have RIA. RIA.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody. So RIA has we could be here for days talking about RIA's. We've been talking in the back. Amazing. Days talking about RIA's past, present and future. But we're going to try and wrap it up into, a tight little 10, 15. So RIA, that's your name.
That's my name.
And you don't want the DJ in front of it like
No,
some other people.
it was a little while ago where I was like, let's just drop the DJ. You know what I mean? Like, I think what happens when people see that DJ RIA or DJ RIA, which is what I called myself for a little while, you are just a DJ, you know? But then I was like, wow, there's so many different parts of myself that I'm doing all the time, you know? So I was like, we'll just drop the DJ and I can just be RIA.
Just be RIA.
Just
and
be RIA.
It definitely suits you. And it does actually stand for something, doesn't it?
It does. It's an acronym for Rhythms in Action. And I guess being an advocate of rhythms, being a yoga teacher and a dance facilitator and really just loving music and sort of like having a sense of like, you know, understanding and loving rhythms throughout my life.
Yep.
And so I was like, why don't I be Rhythms in Action? And at the time when I many moons ago, I was DJing a lot of hip hop actually, and I was quite infatuated with MIA. You know, that was an acronym for Missing in Action. You know, she did that track Paper Planes, and she toured the Big Day Out and all that kind of stuff. She definitely came down under, and I was like, I'll be RIA. You know, and so that's how it all started.
Love it.
So my actual real name is RIA as well, just spelled differently.
So you've just stated that you've always loved music. Yep. And so when did you actually start in the industry? When you finished school, just going to take it back for a little bit. When you finished school, did you know you were going to be somewhere in the music industry? No
way. I was a hippie kid, like running around like with horses and like boats and making huts in the trees. And actually I wanted to be an outdoor reconstructor because I just was so loving the outdoors. I'm a nature baby, right, from way, way, way back. And then took a one-way ticket to Sydney on a whim, followed my boyfriend over there when I was like 18, 19, and ended up in Bondi and started to hang out with my flatmate at the time who was a DJ on Bondi FM. And I was like one of these like kids that was just hanging around like a bad smell at the radio station, you know, and I just was like so eager to push the buttons. And I was like, what does that one do? What does that one do? And I could just, you know, that was the passion, you know what I mean? I was like so keen to sit in and be part of this radio station. I would do anything at the time to be involved.
And is Bondi FM a community or a commercial radio station?
Oh, total community.
Commercial.
Yeah.
Community
radio station.
Great. And and how old were you at the time?
I'd been about 22, I guess.
Okay.
20,
so a starry-eyed little lady with the world.
Playing. Just want to push all the buttons.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you went on a journey with that radio DJing or radio presenting.
Yeah, well, that was the thing because you start playing tunes on the radio and then people are like, can you come and play at my gig? Can you come and do this thing? And there was, for those of you that have lived in Sydney, you might be familiar with the peanut butter jam. A good friend of mine, Todd Hodgkinson, Todd. Oh, I can't even remember
Sorry,
his last name
Todd.
now.
Sorry,
Todd, I love you. It's been so long. But yeah, we started the single The Peanut Butter Jam. It was the Bono Hotel, and it was a live music jam. And so this was Todd and I and a couple of others. Started off as like a guy in the corner of the hotel playing guitar. Next thing you know, it was like 200 people on a Tuesday night. And I was the person that played all the music in between the bands. And it just started being like this thing, and one thing led to the other. And then a friend of mine that I was bartending with, he was the DJ at the Fringe Bar in Oxford Street, and he lent me a crate of records. And at the same time, believe it or not, I got a job at Intermusic, which is like a music shop in Sydney. Now, this is a bit of an old school story, but I started like cleaning guitars and selling guitars and, you know, like pedals and everything to do with music, right? And I was like working at this music shop. And anyone who lives in Sydney probably know about Intermusic. It was a really famous shop. But I was so attracted to the DJ PA hire department, I just couldn't like help myself. I used to go down there. It was like being in the dungeon, you know. It was like with all the speakers and all the different like types of equipment and whatever. And then I was like, look, I just want to work down here. And so my very first job as the guy that was working there was like, right, okay, you want to work for me down here? You got to roll all those leads. And so
fabulous. And rolling leads is hard.
It is hard.
I've been fired from many, many corners of warehouses for rolling the leads wrong. It's got to be that way, not that way.
But this is a thing because as a woman, this is like a thing that you don't necessarily do, because I was the chick that was like, you know, working with all the equipment. So when I started DJing actually for real, I understood Newmark, Pioneer, you know, like just all, like I got to play with all the equipment, you know, and during the week they'd let me take it home and set it up in my lounge room, and I could play with it all, and I had all the different kinds of like CDJs that were coming out at the time, and
That's
you know,
fabulous.
all the Vestax gear and all this kind of stuff. So I was like the technical chick that could plug in all the things when no one else knew what to do. You know, that was
so. I'll say, was there many other women doing what you were doing at the time? What year are we talking?
Oh, this is
80s?
like 2000.
No one's going to guess your age, and I'm older, so it doesn't matter. So
Early 2000s.
Okay,
Yeah.
early 2000s.
Yeah.
Whippersnapper, hashtag. So were there many other women doing what you were doing? Or were you just
Probably not.
no?
No, probably not.
And did you feel at the time that did gender come into it at the time? Did you put the gender debate into your head and go, oh, this is a man's, you know, industry and I want to be part of it as a woman? Or did gender not come into it at all?
There was this amazing moment actually where Rodney P was touring, right? And I got the gig to set up the PA for Rodney P. And I rock up with my boyfriend's like big old school car, you know, we pull this giant PA out of the back of the car and start setting up the sound system, and people just can't get their head around it. They're like, there's this, you know, I'm the one like dragging all the big like subwoofers and setting up all the things, rolling all the leads out and everything, and they're like, this is weird, this doesn't look right. But it was, yeah, that was one of my like milestone moments to set up the sound system for Rodney P.
Did you get respect?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally got respect.
So that's good.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
So I'm a self-confessed speaker geek. Yeah, from way back. Even though the technology's changed a lot now, it's just like, but it was one of those things that I've always had my own PA, always known how to, you know, just hack it, you know, hack all the technical aspects of it so it sounds good.
So you did the tech part of it before you actually became a DJ. You actually like learnt about all the technical side of it before you actually jumped into becoming a DJ. Because a lot of people don't, I say women don't know the technical side of things. You know, they're just like, they've got the interest, they've got the hunger to do it. They love music. But part of what we're teaching in our courses is the technical side, which is a really big part of it. Not just about pushing the funny little amazing buttons. There's this technique. So you had the training before.
Yeah, it's just like, it's the philosophy of sound, you know, and you get to sort of like see how it all like weaves around. It's like setting up a puzzle, you know. I always saw it as like a puzzle, and once you connect the final pieces, then the whole thing works, and it's so beautiful, you know. It's so beautiful. So And I think having that philosophy of sound and understanding how to EQ a room properly, for example, and being able to set up my own sound systems, I could run all my own events like throughout time and be able to give the people that were coming through a really, really amazing experience.
Priceless.
Yeah.
Really.
So as time went on, I ended up like really getting into this urban sound, worked in the music industry for around 10 years throughout Australia and New Zealand, had varying different jobs, worked for Loop Recordings in New Zealand, George FM as like an events manager there, worked for the Bragg magazine in Sydney for like 3.5 years and got really involved there. And, so had to really good understand the music industry, how it was all working and all that kind of thing. So, but then at one stage I was like, look, I got to change. Actually went to Burning Man. If anyone's ever been to Burning Man, it was like myself like shattering into 1,000 pieces. And I was just picking up the pieces that I wanted for myself to move forward. And then I came back to New Zealand and did my yoga teacher training. And from there, from all the sort of like the hip hop and the breaks and the drum and bass and all the stuff that I was playing, I was like, I'm so bored of this. I want to.
All right, hang on. I'm going to stop you there because we didn't even talk about what you played first. So when you started out, I'm going to take you back a notch. Rewind. So when you first started DJing, you've just named a few genres, but was that what inspired you at the time? And were you vinyl or digital or CDJs?
Yeah, I've still got about 5 crates of vinyl, and I've always, to be honest, had mass confusion about what I played. I was one of these people, they go, what do you play? And I'm like, everything, because I just couldn't put myself into a box. And I was seeing all these DJs, especially some of the chicks in the scene that were like, yeah, I'm a deep house DJ. And they would just do deep house. They wouldn't play anything other than that. And I just couldn't even...
Yawn.
Yeah, I don't even know how to do that, because I had so many different facets of interest kind of happening out there. So, but when I was on Bondi FM, for example, I was playing a lot of reggae and dub music because I was involved in the New Zealand music scene that was coming over and touring in Australia. And so I was into promoting them. And then I was like, hey, this is reggae dub. And then we moved into dance hall. Then we moved into like, more of the ragga sound. And then we moved into like more of the breaks and then the drum and bass. So that whole urban thing was really happening as a result of playing reggae dub on the radio. It just sort of like sprung from there. But then the interesting thing was that when I got that crate of vinyl that I was telling you about from my friend who worked at the Fringe Bar on Oxford Street, he gave me this crate of vinyl of deep house. And then, of course, everywhere you go in Sydney, you have turntables. So I was playing vinyl, obviously, and this is the only records that I had. So I started to DJ in bars around Sydney playing deep house. And it was
that's like, where you met Rach, didn't you? The other half of the Spin Sisters. So, this is going back a long time ago. Yeah. Continue, sorry.
So... And some of my favorite records that I still own today that are some of the timeless pieces that I absolutely love is this like electro funk sound that was really prominent. Believe it or not, the label 2020 Vision, and we're in 2020 now. And so I wouldn't mind jamming all those tunes out at some stage because they're a little bit dusty.
Tonight?
But, no. If we had turntables, why not? That would be a great thing to do another time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
RIA's playing a set, by the way, after the interview, so stick around, but we're not there yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, now I'm going to take you, so you've done all those genres and you've gotten excited and then you've gone and done your yoga teacher training.
Yeah.
And had a fragmented Burning Man experience. and so did you think when you were doing the teacher training that you were going to just put music to the side?
Well, what happened was really interesting because I stopped drinking alcohol for a while. And then I was like, what do you do when people are sober? How do you actually, how do you DJ to them? And it ended up being like playing in the sunshine and everyone's sober. And I was like, this is really weird and really interesting, So, but I actually got involved with Wanderlust Festival and toured with Wanderlust as the resident DJ and got to play to like, I think the peak gig was 2,000 people at the beach in Perth with this massive, was it a big amphitheatre on the beach with a big stage and everything with some of the, the top yoga teachers in the whole of Australia with Swami Govindananda doing a thing. who's a famous Swami. And, you know, that was incredible, because the whole thing that really turned me on about the yoga thing was that you're creating a journey. You know, you're creating this journey, and it didn't matter what genre you were playing as long as you were holding a particular frequency.
Yeah.
Right? And you hold that frequency, and then you're working with a facilitator as well. So it's like scoring music to a film. That's what I found so fascinating about it. And so I end up doing a bunch of DJ mixes, which is called the Om Science series, which are on my Mixcloud. And so they're all up.
We'll put RIA's details up. So from that experience, then did you decide that you were just going to DJ? And what would you call, just for the people watching and for everybody else, and even me included, what would you call the genre that you play now? Because it's not just, you can't just go, oh, it's deep house or it's, you know, breakbeat. It's so much more vast than that, what you do now. So
yeah, it's really hard to even, I think, you know, even that, you know, played a video earlier called change is constant, right? And it's like the only thing that is constant is change at the moment, especially with this COVID story and the whole thing that's happening. And it's really hard to say I play a particular genre, because sometimes, you know, I might go to a house party and it's a particular theme, and next thing you know, you're playing like electro swing, you know? And it's like, oh, this electro swing folder I gathered like a very long time ago, I can bust that out, you know, like you just, but I guess what really has been a big theme for me in the last 12 to 24 months, 2 years really, is the ecstatic dance thing. And this is a genre, actually. Ecstatic dance is indeed a genre. And if you like research it and start to look at the ecstatic dance scene that's like moving around the world, it is, you know, it's all sorts of music intertwined in one particular concept, which is so
to take you on an emotional ride.
Yeah, but you can play anything inside an ecstatic dance as well. But it's like, I play ecstatic dance, which means that you're not actually going, you know, you're not sort of playing to a particular BPM, or you're going through a wave, and that's been really fun because it's challenging as well. It's very, very challenging, and it's very insightful as a DJ to sort of like, you know, to pull the music through and be able to play the right music for the right point in the journey, you know, because you're holding people with the frequency and inviting them to come on, you know, to tune into the flow of it. And sometimes it lands amazingly, and sometimes you go, oh, you know, maybe that didn't work so well, because, you know, I see it as, you know, you have, like with DJing especially, it's like, and with the ecstatic dance thing, because you're working in a container, it's like, it's, you know, sometimes the tracks just come, you know, they're just like, wow, it's like a waterfall, and they're coming. And sometimes like, where's that track? And you can't find it, you know.
So the greatest thing about that sort of DJing, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that no one can come and ask for Daryl Braithwaite's horses. No. Yeah? So
I never want to DJ weddings again. I'm way too much of a hippie for that.
I think that just would be so refreshing, because that would just like ruin the frequency and vibration of the whole thing. So it's fantastic because no one's asking for requests, no one's being drunk, coming and, you know, doing all the things that you see as a DJ, you know, where that just can possibly go wrong with drunk patrons. Is it actually the events you play at a strictly no alcohol?
Oh, no. I mean, that's the events that, you know, some of the events that I do, because I was doing a lot of conscious festivals and things like that. But, I mean, I'll just give a shout out to Adaja Black. So Adaja Black was an amazing vocalist who I've been working with for around about 2 years, and we did a couple of epic gigs. One of the most famous gigs that happened around here probably about 2 years ago now was the Castle Party. So Duncan put on a gig, and Daj and I played at the Castle Party. And this was like an electro funk, like kind of world fusion smash up kind of thing. And we were just in like glitter and like, you know, bodysuits and this like nipple tassels and stuff. And it was, people still talk about it today, and she MCs and sings over the top. So we had this Adagio Black and RIA thing. Did a couple of gigs with Curious and Nudge Nudge Wink Wink and so that's been really, really fun. But no one asked for requests there either, which is good.
So you're still active in the scene. Basically, if there's anyone watching out there, and even because we're going to be posting this on our Facebook page and everything like that. So you're very heavily in the scene and you're still out there rocking dance floors all over the place, which is fantastic. And I'm sure you've got future plans to do incredible things as well because you're a powerhouse. But
not so much at the moment. I mean, there's been a lot of sort of underground things, that have been spurting out. But I think with this COVID story, it's like, what can we do with the empty space? How can we recreate what it is that we have and create a channel for our creativity,
Yep.
So
what would you say to any up-and-coming women, not up-and-coming women, to women who are wanting to start on their journey with DJing, on this journey? So what would just be a couple of tips that you can throw out there? I know it's putting you on the spot.
This is really amazing. So this is what I say. I've had an amazing opportunity to work with facilitators as well to teach them DJ skills. So when you're holding a space with either dance or yoga or something like that, the music I find is 50 or 60%, right? So I always say to the women who are doing this is that become a selector first, before you learn how to mix, before you learn how to, hit that sync button and all that kind of stuff. Just collect music that you love and find a way to weave it together in a way that is, just work on those transitions between, I used to call them funky fades, do a funky fade. We used to call that on the radio, just let it fade. And sometimes it's about finding the right track that has a nice intro or an outro that will go with the next track that has a nice intro or outro. So you can just fade it and it just becomes this beautiful, just beautiful blend. Because when you start going into the mixing thing, it's very left brain as opposed to right brain, it becomes very technical, very masculine. So first and foremost, it really is about becoming a selector, I think. And then it's born from love as opposed to from, I've got to get something from this and get really good or,
That's right. Exactly. Be a woman, be a DJ, but be a woman. And that is the point of what we're going to teach. And is there anything else you want to share? Because we're about to throw on a clip from Hungy called The Boy of Many Colours. But before we do that, is there anything that you want to spruik? Anything that you want to...
Yeah, I'm going to be doing an ecstatic dance next Friday night. No, on the 7th of August. And this is at the amazing We Move studio, and what we can do there is we can actually broadcast live on Zoom. We've got a couple of cameras set up there and all this kind of thing. So I'm going to be working with a breath worker, and we're going to be doing some cacao as well. Ooh, for the lucky ones that get to come in, because with the COVID thing you can only allow 20 in the room, but with the internet we can maybe have thousands and thousands of people. So I just launched the event on my Facebook page before I came out tonight. So it's called Ecstatic Sanctuary, and you can find that on rhythmsinaction.com, which defaults to my Facebook page at the moment because my website kind of died. So if anyone wants to keep in touch with any things that we're doing, that's the best place to go.
Rhythms in Action, her Insta page. And thank you so much, Ria. That was amazing. Stick around because she's going to be doing an hour-long set of just whatever the hell she actually wants to do.
Yeah, we'll see what.
But it's going to be rocking. And
you out of the turntables.
If you are interested if you identify as a female and you're interested in learning how to DJ and be part of this amazing community, then hit us up on Facebook, Spin Sisters Hub, and just, even if you've just had an inkling of thinking about it and don't know where to start, just contact us. We're very approachable. Red lippy, very approachable. So I don't know. Can we? Nah, doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. Anyway,
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. And stick around for a set. And now stick around for Hungy with the clip called Boy of Many Colours.